Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in business going into an all-pick phase between Joe Elite Team and Titan. This is the first game of the best of 3 series. Just had to remake one time over, and it looks like we are good to go now, guys. So, thanks for your patience and staying tuned. Now we will get into some awesome Dota. So like I said, some people think it'll be one-sided in favor of Titan, but despite them being the favorites, I still think JET has some tricks up their sleeve. Already showing a very powerful pushing strat with the Chen, the Vengeful Spirit, and the Death Prophet, of course. All three great push-oriented heroes. They didn't get the Dragon Knight or anything like that, but I think that they have a lot of potential here. So, looking forward to the game, and thank you guys for tuning into it and sticking with me throughout these short delays here for the JET specifically. So again, Singapore versus Malaysia, or it's Indonesia. Wow, I can't believe I messed that up. So Indonesia versus Malaysia. To full 100% national teams. So, obviously a little bit of national rivalry there, but yeah. Just show some respect to the chat, I would appreciate that. And other than that, let's enjoy some awesome Dota and an amazing morning. It's a wonderful time where the allergies recede and yeah, I get the caffeine surge kicking in, so I can't wait for this game to get underway personally. But yeah, again, the draft right here, it's all about pressure from JET. They want to start pressuring towers as soon as Death Prophet hits level 6, and then they can move in with, of course, Chen creeps to back them up, the rank 2, rank 3 Vengeance Aura, depending on the timing, and then, of course, later on Elder Titan can come in and add a little bit more teamfight oomph with that Astral Spirit Natural Order. So that'll be very, very effective if they can get it going at the timing that they would prefer. And from that, they will reap the rewards of a very farmed Spectre. She'll get a lot of reliable gold from the tower kills, possibly even get a couple last hits on them, which will really, really fuel her potential early item pickups, and that'll allow her to fight early as well. Now, we do see already some movement from Titan, everybody heading down to the bottom lane. If they can force Chen out of the jungle, if they can cause some grief that throws them off and gets just a couple early kills, it will be extremely in favor of Titan. It's so much easier to defend those towers if you have an extra boost of experience and gold at your back. So, curious to see how it plays itself out. Ohio, again, is on the Luna, so I guess I'll just go through the full rosters. Net is going to be picking up that Crystal Maiden. Windrunner is going to be played by Ice, and KYXY is actually on the Naga Siren here, leaving X on the Earthshaker. Very fun, very fun. Alright, so looking at things here, we do have a little bit of Tango Pool action going for NFR on the Spectre. Levita is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit. Resonance of Fate is that Chen player. Then we have over here on the mid, Kyoshi on the Death Prophet. Then we'd have Tootie on Elder Titan. He's already gone boots first. New meta. Anywho, starting things off, we might have a little bit of rumble in the jungle. This is not something that JET is prepared for. Like, there is just way too much disable, stun, everything that they don't want to deal with right now. They need a little bit of breathing room. But it doesn't look like JET is going to give it to them. They're already being aggressive about their wards, getting good observer positioning. This doesn't block anything. This is purely for perception of when Chen rotates. Sorry, dire vision right here. They can see all the way up to this corner here, and of course have plenty of hero vision spread around the jungle. Now, good thing that I didn't talk about just yet, but I'll throw in there real quick, is the intention of Spectre going into teamfights against the Luna. The big deal here is just trying to make as many targets as possible so that the Eclipse and the Moonglaive don't do as much damage, as the Moonglaive can now bounce between just a handful of targets. If they don't actually have enough targets to jump to, they'll just continuously jump for less and less damage on the same targets nearby. So that's a pretty big deal in my opinion. But the Spectre illusions from Haunt will negate that to some extent. As far as the laning decision of Titan right now, it's Windrunner on the off lane, a little bit nearby support of the hasted Earthshaker. He's probably going to be doing some blocking here. Quick little block, right? You get the timing right. You can always just defer them to the Ancients, and that will negate Spectre's farm extensively. This will be very, very difficult for her to find the early levels she needs. But in turn, you're losing HP on this tower, most likely. Unless Ice is perfect with his maneuvering of the creep wave, you're actually going to be losing a lot on this tower, and that'll kind of play into the hands of the push strat that JAT has already drafted up. Anyways, as we can see, Earthshaker won't be getting any levels or experience. He's actually going to be burning through gold with the Clarity usage here, but all in all, it's going to be denying experience, and that's even more relevant when you're up against a Spectre, who may be forced to rotate. In the meantime, on mid, we see a mid Naga Siren. Haven't seen this in a while. Very, very interesting. usage, but there you go. Seeing her here, she's just using 3 branches to last hit with, now has the bottle available, and should be able to handle a lot of the harassment of Death Prophet, but at around level 5, that's might be a little bit too much to handle. Meantime, 2D on top lane taking a hell of a lot of damage here. Just a Lucent Beam harassment, a couple of spells from Net, and suddenly you have a Elder Titan sitting at only 100 HP with a Tango and a half remaining. Oh, this is one of the admins pause or something? I don't even know. Finol, what you doing? Another successful neutral pull, and because he's not stacking yet, it looks like he will be able to get the kill on this Ancient Rock Golem, which will help out quite a bit. So that's a nice little chunk for him. It's not going to put him to level 2 or anything, but clearing out this entire wave will accomplish just that at a very gradual pace. Double damage rune goes to Kyoshi, but now it is a 2-on-1. Can they get enough damage to bring down KYXY? He's pretty quick at 320 MS. Goes for the net here. The last right click brings him down to 42 HP, but will not seal the deal. Also has the mirror image if he needs to dodge with it, but it looks like it's just going to be Elder Titan going deep. Looking for Corey. Now just goes for the first blood with that Astral Spirit. For some reason I thought it was Ancestral Spirit. Did they change that? Maybe they did. Who knows? Maybe I'm thinking of the Tauren Chieftain. Soul Ring pickup on the Elder Titan allows him to spam a lot more actively at the cost of course, his own HP. So we'll see if that comes into play or not. Obviously he's going to be using that as much as possible on the top lane, just to make sure that Ohio doesn't have the opportunity to dive him under tower. Especially when Ohio approaches level 6, that can get very, very dangerous. Along the same lines as a Juggernaut can be.
Radiant's top tower is
Smoke of Deceit coming out. That is a Hailberry Smasher on the front lines. Could be very dangerous for Naga Siren. She's already been killed off once. This second time around, it'll cost her extensively if she does not respond immediately. KYXY, get out of there. No, there's the magic missile. It's going to connect. They're going to be close to the range of Hailberry Smasher, and with KYXY turning around, they're actually going to be getting an easy kill with or without this bear. In the meantime, down bottom, the creep wave has come out a little bit. Actually, Windrunner taking a lot of hits from this Desolate. Only rank 1, but still does a pretty good chunk of 20 pure damage. And it's something to be considered. X just going to sit bottom rune. It will be spawning here on top lane. And that's an illusion going the way of Death Prophet. And now just going to move over and look for the stack with the next wave. Still only 2 clarities left. Arcane Aura providing some assistance, sustaining his mana regen, but he's just spamming out Fissure after Fissure. And you can see the direct impact right here on the CS board. You look over, Spectre is only 7 and 0. As far as experience per minute, she's down here at 212. Whereas Windrunner is, with full solo experience, sitting at almost 400. So that's a huge difference between those two. And it's very, very clear to see why. Meantime, a lot more pressure has been put out on top. A second Smoke of Deceit has been used to try to put some pressure out here, right on top of Luna. But looks like Luna's just going to go for a quick pull and actually might be safe in this position here. Has great night vision with the Lunar Blessing, 1800 I believe. And from there, it's really, really difficult to get that gank off now that they've dispelled their Smoke of the Deceit in favor of farming the jungle. Interesting build as well. I was talking about the maxing aura build for push, but since they're not really putting emphasis on that, they're putting more emphasis on gank. They're actually just going for the magic missile, which it doesn't scale great in disable, but it is still a very formidable nuke.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now, Death Prophet is pretty much manhandling this lane, in my opinion, or at least should be. From this position here, just a little bit of mana sustain, one or pickup of Arcane Boots, something like that, and he can force KYXY out over and over. But he doesn't want to scare the Naga Siren off, because he's looking for a rotation. He's looking for Vengeful Spirit to come in the flank and try to set something up for a guaranteed kill, rather than just harass him back out of lane. I'm going to see movement from the Illusions, one to gotta throw things off in the mid lane, one to possibly deny the rune bottom as necessary, and yeah, just continuously farming one way or another. The rune, however, is going to spawn up top here. KYXY is going to cover the top rune, look down bottom, and if he needs to, he can deny it. But it looks like they're just going to give it to Earthshaker. If X gets this invis, they can actually do some huge blocks. Not on Spectre necessarily, because the dagger prevents her from being limited by the terrain. But there's still many other heroes that you can do a lot with for this invis. But for right now, Naga Siren's going to be the one to pick it up. And I don't think that's actually going to do too much. But at least it's going to refill her bottle, which will allow her to sustain even better against DP.
You didn't want that, did you?
Fisher continues. He actually quarried out a couple clarities here. He's still only sitting at level 3. As I said, he gets very little experience out of these pulls, but the whole point is limiting Spectre's potential, only sitting at 10 and 1 here. And yeah, the more you delay that Spectre's farm, the better position you're going to feel as a team. And you compare that to what Luna's been able to find up top lane. She's about to helmet the Dominator, where she can start stacking these Ancients and farming them that way. It's just going to be a completely different story, carry for carry. Going toe-to-toe here, we do see 43 CS for the Death Prophet, 35 for the Naga Siren. So KYXY not necessarily doing that hot in the lane, but it's kind of to be expected. It's not a favorable lane matchup for the Naga Siren in general. Also, both of them are focusing quite a bit on denies. We do see 8 from DP, 6 from the Naga Siren. That's obviously favoring the melee hero because of the fact that actually they changed that, didn't they? Now range denies aren't as bad, so that isn't really a factor that I can discuss anymore. Looking for some roaming, looking for some flank to gank to bring down Earthshaker, but looks like he's going to be just barely aware of it. And in turn, they're not even going to get the rune. Like, they put all this movement out here, but Windrunner has that ability, Windrun, and is going to be able to bring down Kiosh most likely here. Bottling away, Magic Wand is available, actually baiting Ice into a bad situation where he will be turned around upon. And, yep, that's one great thing about Death Prophet, is how mobile she can be, how in your face she can be as necessary. So if you don't keep track of how many bottle charges, how many Magic Wand charges, she can easily juke around some trees and suddenly be half HP, and that can be very difficult to deal with. Now that they've finally gotten this kill on the offlaner, they're going to make a move on the bottom lane. Again, the tower's already taken a few pinpricks from the Earthshaker blocks, but now they're going to go and brute force it down. Here comes the Exorcism. Huge damage output from these little ladies. Couple points in Witchcraft, 1 point in Exorcism, and you just watch that tower fall. Melting it away. Ice going to go for the deny here, but easier said than done. They're not going to get it here. They're just going to try to throw a little bit of aggression the other way before retreating. Do see a smoke rotation. I don't think it's going to be enough here. Crystal Maiden, Earthshaker, these two, they can do some really, really cool things, but by themselves, not accomplishing too much. But don't forget about Ohio. Farming away. Coring up his health at the moment. Has gone for the treads over the early Dominator, but you know that's the direction he's going to be going long term. So just looking at the item cap for the moment, Death Prophet has those arcane boots. There's a lot of different ways you can build Death Prophet. My personal favorite is the Yule Scepter, because you can, if you're taking too much harassment, if you're frostbitten up, can't move anywhere, just use that item on yourself and you'll be in a lot better spot. You can also dodge abilities like the Shackle Shot and things like that. So it's great for the self-invulnerability, and your Exorcism still taken away, your Crypt Swarm just coming off its short cooldown in that time frame. So those are a couple great ways to use it, as well as just sustaining your mana pool indefinitely. But that being said, there are some great, more direct pickups, some more durable pickups. A lot of people favor the Bloodstone and the Shiva's Guard and things like that. We'll have to see if it actually makes anything happen. But we do see up top, that's going to be a kill, guaranteed. Great Fisher block coming from Max. Gets the perfect positioning, and as long as he stands right here, there's no way to escape. So in that position there, Ohio just gets handed a kill on a silver platter. Happy to eat that up, and meanwhile, dominating a creep, moving it towards the stackable ancient camps, and we'll see that going to work shortly with Of course, Net already assisting in that regard. Now on mid lane, KYXY gets netted up. They start with a magic missile. They follow through with the troll, and that's going to be a kill, leading to a push. Exorcism comes out. Can they stop this? Earthshaker only sitting on 200 mana, and he's currently farming neutrals, so I really don't see him being much of a factor in this. But of course, Windrunner is now at level 8. Max power shot, doing what she can. Will it be enough? We'll see. Right now, a lot of right clicks coming on the tower, dropping fast, under 400 HP. It looks like it's going to jump to deny range. Will they be able to pull this off? Test of faith. Kiosh wants to go in deep. He gets the last hit, and Kiosh will be back home to regen. But that actually signals that they can go in deep right here. They go for the ensnare. But magic missile is dodged by KYXY. Nice job there. Really, really good evasion. And with that, they net a very successful kill and can put out some counter push pressure of their own. So the big thing, the defining thing there was they sent Kiosh back. By doing that, they were saying, we're not going to be much of a factor here. We're in retreat mode as soon as this tower drops, and Titan took that opportunity. So they have lost 2 towers, but it is 12 minutes against a push lineup. That is kind of to be expected. They just have to put more efforts into getting Earthshaker his level 6, as we see him having been doing the past couple minutes in the jungle. And from there, of course, he will be able to counter push very, very effectively and be a threat against push lineups as a whole, because the Spectre illusions will count towards that creep count, as well as full creep waves underneath the tower. So it's all about positioning from there. Now, as far as the item pickup for the Death Prophet, as I was mentioning, a lot of different options. Kiosh opts for the Force Staff, which I think is very, very good, getting people out of a tough position due to Fissure blocks, getting just repositioning or being aggressive in positioning to bring people down. Earthshaker dropping low, will fall before he gets a chance to throw anything out here. That's that Astral Spirit at work. That's that NFR committing the ultimate. They're not going to get Ohio, but 2 hero kills, 1 tower kill. Easy money for them. So right now, JET taking a very substantial lead, but trying to counter back KYXY, doing some push down on bottom as well. And of course, Ice at work, using the power shot, building the mechanism so that they can fight underneath their tier 2s. But right now we already see the gold graph going in favor of JET by far. The Indonesians have 2,500 gold as a team, and the experience advantage is only slightly disadvantageous, which tends to be the case with push lineups. Now going for a Force Staff magic missile. That force was from the Death Prophet, but they're not going to find a kill. Instead, get turned around on by this shackle shot. Damage coming out on Levita. He will fall here. And now they get the net onto Kiosh. Has force in 8 seconds, but that won't be enough. Frostbite right clicks, and he will fall. Oh, almost gets out of there, but X nets the last hit with that Fissure. And on top of that, Ohio will get a last hit on the tower, bringing him up to 2,200 current gold. Very, very good position for him to be in, as he's almost rivaling DP, who has gotten 2 tower last hits himself. Carry Maiden, gonna farm the neutrals a little bit, build up that GPM. Looks like Spectre's going to be working towards the Drums of Endurance, just trying to keep that reliable gold up. Because, I mean, this is one thing that a lot of people don't talk about in push lineups, but I think it's one of the more important aspects, is that Tower Gold doesn't just provide 200 gold to the team, it provides 200 reliable gold. So you see Spectre here, sitting on 700, was just sitting on over 1,000 reliable gold. That means even if you gank a Spectre 3 different times, it doesn't matter. As long as you spend your unreliable gold wisely, you're not going to be actually netting any losses other than your death time. Oh, actually, might have to use Spectre Dagger, but obviously there's nobody else to follow up on that. Anywho, so NFR does pick up the Drums of Endurance, but he still has in his bank over 700 reliable gold. That means that he can get, as long as he's buying smaller items, that he can continuously go into fights unafraid of losing those monetary funds, and then as soon as he respawns, gets back to the action. Also allows for buybacks later on, which is great for Spectre. One of the best things for Spectre to do in a team fight in some situations, when you're fighting against all odds and you know that you can't win a fight, go ahead, bait them in. Actually, we do see a little bit of back and forth between Death Prophet and the Luna. But anyways, yeah, you bait them in, you do deal a ton of damage with your dispersion. Actually going for the ultimate, going right on top of Net here. Does have the dagger up, but it looks like he wasn't getting the buff or something. Pathing around the Fissure. Not going to get the kill on Net, and of course, Ohio will just TP away, so unfortunately a bit of a loss on the Haunt there, but they did get some vision on KYXY, which almost set up a kill but unfortunately not in range for the magic missile or the swap. Okay, KYXY is not done here. He looks like he wants to actually make some things happen, or maybe just pick up the DD rune down bottom. That Chen is out of mana. Centaur does have 1 stun available. Looks like actually the DD is going to be sniped here. Death Prophet going to bottle it up for herself. Now Shackle Shot comes out onto the Wild Wing, connecting onto Levita. A lot of damage coming out. This might be enough. No, going to win run away. And the big thing here is that the KYXY wasn't committed to the follow-up. It was a 2 versus 3 engagement, and although they can use a song to disengage after a free kill, generally speaking, trading a support kill, just killing off a level 6 Venge, in turn for trading your song with Siren, even at rank 2, might not be worth it. So, just a bit of decision making. It's more Titan style that I know of to be more cautious about those kinds of things and not to dive as aggressively as you would see like a Western Russian team or something like that. In the meantime, Casual Yasha moving into BKB, a standard build-up for Gyro or Luna, and in this case here, he's going to be able to be very durable and very mobile. Base movement speed, one of the highest in the game, around 320, 325, and on top of that is, of course, building that up with the movement speed boost, 10%. So you're looking at passive 418. Actually, here in, not sure what Winter is accomplishing. Trying to go for Shackles, but they're not going to connect. Anyways, throwing off my game there. 418 base movement speed, moving around the jungle very, very quickly, allows her to farm rapidly. Combining that with the fact that the supports have been stacking like crazy, you see the net worth of Luna just completely outpacing NFR's. He's moving in towards its defusal. He'll get it in an okay time, but right now it's Luna that's going to be running the game for sure. Having that BKB at a great time. Now, she is a little bit inhibited by the Sentry Wards blocking off the Ancients here, but I don't think they've actually tried to stack it recently, so it might not be that big a deal. Something I was hitting on before, but I obviously lost my train of thought there with the team fight, is that the Spectre Haunt, one of the best things you can do with it is run into a fight, deal a ton of damage with your dispersion just by tanking all their disables, all their right clicks, and then when they think they've got you down, that's when you buy back and haunt back into the team fight. 5 full HP illusions. Oh, Kiosh. Bad spot to be in here, hun. So, Frostbite, Fisher, all that locks down. They do have ward vision. I think that's what Chen is pinging out right here. He's like, I just placed those wards for you, man. Resonance is like, please. I got 2 great wards for you. You see them coming. Please respond to the situation. But, you know, beyond that, you learn, you improve. That's what Dota's all about, is realizing your mistakes and moving past them. Now we just see a big mistake here from KYXY. Might force a TP. Already used the song. And yeah, he's going to use the scroll to get out of dodge. Which, for some reason, brings my train of thought to what happened to Visage in that draft. I think he got banned out in a later phase, but possibly not. He was very, very neglected in the first few sequences there, and that's kind of surprising because Net loves to play heroes like Naga Siren and Visage. So changing the pace of him quite a bit, playing the Crystal Maiden. It was a great pickup, don't get me wrong, and actually we are seeing a Midas on this Crystal Maiden just to recover even further. That's pretty fun. But, yeah, like I was saying, Net loves to play things like the Visage and the Naga Siren, and if I remember correctly, X is a pretty solid Visage as well, so the fact that that wasn't picked up from either team's perspective was a little bit surprising to me, but anywho. Now we see pressure down on bottom lane. KYXY is under fire from Spectre, but an easy opportunity to try to go for a Fisher block. They go for the net. He does try to haunt away. Will he get the reality? Just getting swapped out. Test of Faith home. The support's doing work, keeping their teammates up and active. And Spectre, actually connects with the Echo Stomp. I actually didn't see that coming. Magic Missile. Oh my god, that ultimate! Huge damage from the Elder Titan, but now answering back a great Shackle, a huge Echo Slam. Kyo's taking a lot of damage, 4 staffed away. One more Crypt Swarm to go, but will he survive? No. Too much damage from Ice. Going for the Shackle Shot, connects onto Elder Titan once more. Frostbite available, there's the death of Tootie. Such a great start for JET, but turned around by Titan. Here's Spectre, taking some damage, trying to get back into the fray after being Test of Faith home, but all he could do is run with the drum bongos playing in his wake. Wow, what a team fight. Wow. They got such a great start, getting the Magic Missile onto Luna. First of all, they land an Echo Stomp, which honestly, I'm not saying that they shouldn't ever hit, but without any setup, they generally do not. So, first and foremost, great that they landed the Echo Stomp on the Luna. From there, the Earth Splitter was a no-brainer with that Venge Stun. Great start. They grouped everybody together, pulled in 4 heroes into that Earth Splitter, but to no avail. They got 2 great shackles in that fight. They had the mechanism to bring them back up, and of course ET was only level 10 at the time, or actually he's 11 with only 1 point in ultimate. Let's see here, that's 10, 11. He spent all 11 skill points. That is just him neglecting his 2nd point in ultimate for a 2nd point in Echo Stomp, which may... I mean, it might have been the setup they needed for the Magic Missile, but if it wasn't, then obviously the damage would have been preferable. But anyways, mechanism healing that all back up, and then immediate response. Earthshaker's just like, come at me, guys. Running into the fight. Spectre illusions are up. He's just slamming and jamming. X does so much damage in that fight, and it gives such a nice little advantage to Titan at the end of that. So 3, 1, and 4. Of course, Ice doing such great work on this Windrunner, and looks like we're having some Midas Dota here. I'd even go for the Tritus. We'll see. But for right now, Crystal Maiden Midas, Windrunner Midas. But damn if they earned that 1,900 gold with that last team fight. Luna's now leading on kills, and Windrunner's leading on kills, and that's huge. I mean, look at the goal graph. There was that moderate advantage of almost 3,000 for JET, just completely slapped down and denied by Titan's team fight. 5,000 gold advantage for Titan, even more so with experience. 10,000 experience. They're just have such advantage now, with Ohio closing in on his rank 3 ultimate, already finishing off his BKB, which is 10 full seconds. And of course they have 2 level 13 heroes as opposed to 12s and 11s on the side of JET. I don't see the next team fight working well for JET. That was the best fight I could imagine them having, and my goodness, that they just get completely trashed. So they do have their pipe. It will help a lot for the Earthshaker damage, the Luna damage, but will it be enough? We'll have to see. Diffusal Blade up for Spectre. That was definitely much needed for the damage output of her ultimate, but those illusions haven't really been lasting too long. Against heroes like ES and Luna, those get shredded very, very quickly. So without much durability, only 1,200 HP, and it propagates how much? I actually do not recall in this one. It's they take 100% bonus damage, so they pretty much have half that HP. They survive with 600 damage. That's pretty easy to AoE through. Ohio clearing out some Ancients. Big money coming out for Ohio. Look at this. 13,000 net worth is what he's closing in on, and that's going to move him towards his Manta style in just 100 gold. Great position to be in. Manta and BKB. They could go for Roche if they wanted to. Like with that kind of team fight, there's no way Titan or JET can contest. And JoeNet trying their hearts out. They did a great draft, but I don't know if it was executed as well as it needed to be. These tier 2s, it's always easy to take tier 1s with Chens and Venges and things like that. But to take tier 2s, now that's a completely different story. And they're up against Song, they're up against the Echo. It's going to get scary from here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So a couple things moving forward for the Bloodstone. Kyosh will be able to survive throughout the team fight more actively, and one underrated aspect of this item is the major heal you can get out of it. 400 HP plus charges times 30, so that can be a very substantial heal very, very quickly. It's already 640, I believe. So in conjunction with the mechanism, the Hand of God, they have a lot of durability on a lot of their heroes, but at the cost of Death Prophet's life. In turn, we do see that mid Naga Siren KYXY really putting that money to work, as we see him already picking up a Radiance here, and the illusions are so darn frustrating to deal with as a result of that. In the meantime, solo push from Luna uncontested. Crystal Maiden the only one to help out here. Oh, goodness, we have a huge song coming out. Spectre will pop the ultimate, but might just set up the Earthshaker. No, the Blink is on cooldown now. Ohio, though, on the front line. Huge damage with this BKB. Eclipse, right-clicking down. Hand of God helps with a Shackle Shot. Seals the fate of the Venge. We see Death Prophet dying, but not on her terms, that's for sure. And now 2D coming in. Are they going to get a Shackle? No, 2 seconds. Off cooldown, looking for a force, looking to close in on ROF. They will get the Shackle. It will connect. Look at that latch, guys. I don't even think they needed the latch, just the mini stun, but either way, they certainly got what they needed there. Oh my goodness. Now they can move in towards Roche, they can move in towards Push, they can do whatever the heck they want. And that was like a 3-man team fight. Like, Earthshaker wanted to jump in. The whole point of that initiation with the song was to TP X to the back lines, he'll blink in, he'll get a great Echo Slam off. But instead, the Spectre Honk came out, and that put his blink on cooldown. So until he gets a Ghost Scepter, or just chooses to actually walk into the fight when the song's going off, that's going to be an issue. But anyways, yeah, again, JET's doing the best they can, but they need a miracle to really make this work for them. So next item pickup for Luna, is it going to be Butterfly? It is, so that's going to be a great position to be in for her. I mean, if you got Radiance damage ticking away, that's going to burn down the pipe by itself. Then you have all this damage output from the Luna, who's soon going to have evasion. It's really, really difficult for JET to deal with. And they don't have any natural Monkey King bar carriers until we're moving towards like 6-slot Spectre. So from this position, I gotta say that the carry potential is all in the hands of Ohio. And we've kind of been talking about that since the beginning of the game. I mean, he had uncontested farm up top. ET threw out some Astrals here and there. They were dangerous, but they weren't forcing him off the lane. He had enough support. So from that position here, we do see that Ohio is able to solo Roshan with no real trouble, because he does have, what, 22 armor? Because he does have this huge lifesteal, huge damage output. It takes a while, but 2-man Roshan, no problem at all. And Aegis the Immortal goes to Ohio. So this is looking bad for JET. They really, really need to find a pickoff or something very sneaky. That's where the Smoke of the Sea comes in. When you're behind, you throw down that smoke. And right here, we see it coming on the courier. We'll see if it actually works out for JET. Indonesian fans all waiting for something big to happen, but right now we're just seeing some split push from the Spectre, TPing back home and just trying to find that little extra farm. Move towards that heart very, very gradually. And, you know, it's still possible. Spectre, I've always been a proponent of don't really consider the game over when you have a Spectre. Definitely not by 29 minutes. But when you look at what he's up against, the Naga Siren with the Radiance, the Luna with just about everything a Luna could ask for at this stage in the game, it's really difficult to justify a Spectre being able to pull this one out of the back. Because again, maybe one of the hardest carries in the game, but a lot of people underrate how much Naga Siren can do. You get some good agility items on her, a Manta, Diffusal 2. Naga Siren can do so much damage with those just 4 illusions going away. I guess it's 3 illusions, 1 main, but either way, a huge damage output from a hero that's generally just thrown into the support role because she's very, very skillful in that as well. Net obviously not too well versed in the rules of the Midas. The rules of the Midas is Midas always on cooldown. Get that experience, get that money, and get moving towards your next big thing. And a lot of people are joking about the trend of Midas on everyone. Midas on Anti-Mage, Midas on Crystal Maidens, things like that. But really, you have 250 more gold per 1,000. The pace of the game allows it. It's not the worst pickup in the world. It pays for itself very quickly, but more importantly, it gives you that reliable gold boost. It doesn't just do it unreliably. It allows it so that you, in general, can get so much more bang for your buck because that gold is guaranteed going towards item, not going to be fed away. Now we do see, actually, a solo Echo Slime. Not sure how I feel about that initiation when you could have just totemed, but one way or another, they get the kill. That is a overextended Death Prophet. That is a good roaming perspective from Titan. And you got to look at the path they took. The most awkward path you can imagine right here. Going from the top lane, going through the Ancients, but just completely circumventing the ward. And whether they knew that ward was there and they very wisely made Death Prophet feel unnecessarily comfortable, or if they just happened upon it, one way or another, they're getting a very clutch kill. Because even though it's only 15-7, the Death Prophet is the best thing that they have right now. JT has going for them. She does have her Bloodstone, and by keeping those charges down, you reduce that utility, the utility of that item's extremely. I'm not going to say exponentially, because I definitely think that there are more important things than the Bloodstone charges, but if it's all the same, that a one-charge Bloodstone isn't going to accomplish too much at all. Butterfly finished on Luna, now has just barely enough reliable gold in the bank. This is how really good carry players spend their money. You look at this, it's 11.24 buyback cost, 11.36 reliable gold. So for the next 4 minutes or so, until buyback increases, that's going to be plenty of money there. And by then he'll probably have picked up another little chunk of reliable. So in this position here, even if he does get dropped down like 2 or 3 times, he still always has buyback when he needs it, and that's the most important thing. So with the second life of the Aegis, I actually don't think he's going to need that money necessarily, but it's still a great practice. So we look at this, we're going to do some siege with the Manta-style illusions with the next creep wave. Yeah, the Butterfly, Evasion, the BKB is still at 10 seconds. Like, Luna could not be more powerful than she is at this very moment. 33 minutes in, level 19, with all this at her back, and then all these items, it's just pretty much game of his life right now. We're going to see some attempted initiations. The Echo Stomp will come across, but not going to connect here. So I'm trying to force off KOX while he's doing a little bit of split push here on the mid lane as well, illusions and such. Ohio going to suicide his Aegis, as that was going to expire in no time at all anyways. That had actually 3 full minutes on it, so didn't necessarily need to do that, but not going to cost him too much in the end. Now gets swapped in, though. This could be very, very costly. Goes for the Manta, dodges out a missile. Great movement there. A lot of right-click damage. Here comes that Eclipse. BKB up. Ohio just in the face of everything is bringing everyone down. Glaives flying everywhere. Right-clicks. Repositioning with the song. Looking for a great Fisher Echo. They're going to be able to bring down a full team wipe. Oh, so much damage. They lose the Earthshaker, but they get so much more out of it. Spectre's back in. Going to try to go for 1 kill on Ohio, but it doesn't really matter. The net comes out. There's the right clicks, and GG is the call. JET concedes. So, there it is. Game 1 of this best of 3 series. Titan running rampant. You guys, a lot of you guys saw it coming, but I still think that this will be a very nice series to go through with. So, we'll see game 2. Maybe the Indonesians have some really, really cool strats. Maybe they can just perfect the strat that they were going for. Maybe they can get some more towers actively and use Exorcism back-to-back to make sure that they are just getting map control and limiting what Ohio can do on that carry position. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in for the beginning of that. In the end, we do have that Tritus, Earthshaker, Windrunner, Crystal Maiden, all going for 3 Midases. And Titan taking the game away. 34 minutes. We have an end score of 21-10. And a very successful game for Titan. So we'll see him in game 2. JET, they might have another response. Otherwise, they're going to go down for the count 2-0. So we'll see if it's going to be a shutout or an equalizer. But game 2 coming up in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Once again, I am Blaze. Happy to be able to bring you guys this commentary on twitch.tv/JoeNet 3. That's the new channel I'll be covering. Well, it's an old channel that I'll be covering much more consistently. I'm covering this best of 3 and then First Departure versus Mistrust after this one concludes. And yeah, I'll be bringing in plenty of co-casters and such from time to time. So be sure, if you can, to follow the channel itself and hit me up when you guys want to check out some awesome SEA Dota or Western Dota, as I'll be covering that when I get the opportunity as well over here. And of course, shout out to Dota Talk for setting me up with that, as well as helping to organize this tournament here against SteelSeries Southeastern Asian Cup. awesome to see it. Awesome teams, awesome play, and just completely enlightening how these teams completely play it differently than the Western side. So I'd love to get into it, get a little bit more information on it, and I've dabbled. It's essentially is what it is. I've gone in and out here and there. Started with Western Dota, jumped into Eastern for about a month and a half to 2 months, and then was thrust right back into the Western scene. So happy to be back, and maybe here to stay. We'll see. But anyways, going into the second game here, JoeNet versus Titan.